Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a world where a single swipe can change our mood, a single post can influence our confidence, and a single image can make us question our own lives. Every day, millions of people open social media platforms and step into a carefully designed digital world. It is a world filled with perfect smiles, luxurious vacations, flawless bodies, expensive cars, happy relationships, and seemingly endless success. The problem is not that these things exist. The problem is that we begin to believe that this is reality. Social media has given us incredible opportunities. It allows us to connect, learn, share ideas, and stay informed. But somewhere along the way, many people stopped using social media as a tool and started using it as a measuring stick for their own worth. They compare their everyday lives to someone else's highlight reel. They compare their struggles to another person's victories. They compare their behind-the-scenes reality to a carefully edited presentation. Think about it. When was the last time you saw someone post about their failures, insecurities, sleepless nights, or moments of self-doubt? Most people don't share those moments. Instead, they share the best angle, the best lighting, the biggest achievement, and the happiest smile. What we see online is often only a fraction of the truth. A person may post a picture of a luxury vacation while hiding financial stress. Someone may share photos of a perfect relationship while privately dealing with serious challenges. A successful entrepreneur may celebrate a business milestone without mentioning the years of rejection, mistakes, and failures that came before it. The audience sees the destination but rarely sees the journey. The danger begins when we forget that social media is curated. We start believing that everyone else is happier, wealthier, more attractive, and more successful than we are. This creates a silent pressure that affects confidence, self-esteem, and mental well-being. People begin chasing approval through likes, comments, and followers instead of building genuine self-respect. Many individuals wake up and immediately check their phones. Before they even start their day, they are comparing themselves to hundreds of people online. They see achievements, celebrations, and accomplishments, and suddenly their own progress feels insignificant. Yet what they fail to realize is that everyone is fighting battles that may never appear on a screen. Reality is different. Reality is messy. Reality includes mistakes, setbacks, uncertainty, and growth. Reality is waking up tired but continuing to move forward. Reality is failing and trying again. Reality is facing rejection and still believing in your dreams. These moments rarely go viral, but they are the moments that shape character and create lasting success. The truth is that your value cannot be measured by views, likes, or followers. Your worth is not determined by how many people react to your content. Your worth comes from your character, your actions, your effort, and the positive impact you make in the lives of others. The strongest confidence comes from knowing who you are, not from waiting for strangers to validate you. Imagine how much energy people would gain if they spent less time comparing and more time creating. Imagine what would happen if people focused on improving themselves rather than competing with images on a screen. The hours spent worrying about someone else's life could be invested in learning a skill, building a business, improving health, strengthening relationships, or pursuing meaningful goals. Social media often convinces people that success should happen instantly. We see overnight success stories, viral videos, and rapid achievements, but reality operates differently. Real success is built through consistent effort, patience, discipline, and persistence. The greatest accomplishments usually happen far away from cameras and applause. They are created in quiet moments of hard work when nobody is watching. Young people especially need to understand this difference. The online world can create unrealistic expectations about beauty, wealth, and achievement. Filters can change appearances. Editing can transform reality. Marketing can make ordinary lives seem extraordinary. If people are not careful, they may spend years chasing an illusion instead of appreciating their own unique journey. The most powerful thing a person can do is reconnect with reality, spend time with family, have meaningful conversations, read books, learn new skills, exercise, experience nature, build genuine friendships, create memories that exist beyond a screen. These experiences provide fulfillment that no number of likes can ever replace. Social media can be a wonderful servant, but it becomes a terrible master when it controls emotions, confidence, and identity. Use it to learn, connect, and inspire. Do not allow it to define who you are. Remember that every person has struggles, fears, and challenges, even if they never post them online. At the end of the day, reality is where growth happens. Reality is where dreams are built. Reality is where character is developed. Reality is where true happiness is found. The screen may show an image, but life is lived beyond the screen. The goal is not to create the perfect online appearance. The goal is to create a meaningful, authentic, and fulfilling life in the real world. Social media has created a world where perfection appears to be everywhere. Every day, people scroll through endless images and videos showing beautiful lifestyles, luxury vacations, perfect relationships, expensive possessions. and incredible achievements. At first glance, it seems as if everyone is living a dream life. The problem is not that these moments exist. The problem is that people often mistake these carefully selected moments for the complete reality of someone's life. What appears on a screen is usually only a small fraction of the truth, yet many people accept it as the whole story. When individuals post on social media, they naturally choose their best moments. They upload photos where they look their best, share achievements they are proud of, and present experiences that create a positive impression. Rarely do people share the moments of uncertainty, fear, disappointment, stress, or failure that are also part of their lives. As a result, social media becomes a collection of highlights rather than a reflection of reality. It is similar to watching only the winning moments of an athlete and assuming they never experienced injuries, losses, or difficult training sessions. Technology has made this illusion even stronger. Filters, editing tools, and photo enhancement applications allow people to transform ordinary images into extraordinary ones. A simple photograph can be adjusted to create flawless skin, perfect lighting, and an ideal appearance. Videos can be edited to remove mistakes and present only the most attractive moments. Over time, these edited images create unrealistic standards that no one can consistently achieve in real life. This illusion affects people of all ages, but it can be especially powerful for young individuals who are still developing their confidence and identity. When they repeatedly see images of perfection, they may begin to believe that everyone else is happier, more successful, and more attractive than they are. They start comparing their real lives with all their imperfections to an artificial standard that does not truly exist. This comparison often leads to frustration, insecurity, and dissatisfaction. The reality is that every person faces challenges that remain hidden behind the screen. The smiling couple in a photograph may have disagreements and struggles. The successful entrepreneur may have experienced years of rejection before achieving success. The fitness influencer may face moments of self-doubt and discouragement. The student celebrating excellent grades may have spent countless sleepless nights studying. Every achievement has a story behind it, and every person carries difficulties that are rarely visible online. Many people spend hours trying to create the perfect online image because they fear judgment or rejection. They feel pressure to present themselves as successful, confident, and happy at all times. This pressure creates a cycle where everyone is trying to appear perfect while secretly dealing with the same human struggles. Ironically, the more people chase perfection online, the further they move away from authenticity. Understanding this illusion is essential for maintaining a healthy perspective. Social media can be entertaining, educational, and inspiring, but it should never become the standard by which people measure their own lives. Behind every perfect picture is a real person with strengths, weaknesses, victories, and challenges. The moment people recognize that social media often shows a carefully edited version of reality, they gain the freedom to stop comparing themselves to impossible standards and begin appreciating the value of their own unique journey. One of the greatest dangers of social media is the habit of constant comparison. Human beings have always compared themselves to others to some extent, but social media has multiplied this tendency on a scale never seen before. In the past, people compared themselves mainly to friends, neighbors, classmates, or colleagues. Today, with a single swipe, they compare themselves to celebrities, influencers, entrepreneurs, athletes, and millions of strangers from around the world. This endless stream of comparison can quietly affect confidence, happiness, and self-esteem. The challenge begins when people look at someone else's success and use it as evidence of their own failure. They see a person buying a new car and suddenly feel dissatisfied with their own progress. They see someone traveling the world and begin questioning their own achievements. They watch others celebrate promotions, business successes, relationships, or personal milestones and start believing they are falling behind in life. What they fail to recognize is that every person's journey is different, and comparing one life to another rarely provides a fair or accurate picture. Social media encourages people to focus on outcomes rather than processes. They see the finished result, but not the years of effort that made it possible. They see the successful business, but not the failures that came before it. They see the fit and healthy body, but not the discipline, sacrifices, and hard work required to achieve it. They see the confident public speaker, but not the nervous beginner who struggled at the start. When people compare their current situation to someone else's final achievement, they create unrealistic expectations for themselves. Constant comparison also steals attention from personal growth. Instead of focusing on their own goals, many individuals become obsessed with what others are doing. They spend valuable time tracking other people's progress rather than improving their own lives. Their energy shifts away from learning, creating, and growing and moves toward worrying, competing, and seeking validation. As a result, they may feel stuck, not because they lack ability, but because their focus is directed in the wrong place. Another problem with comparison is that it creates a distorted view of success. People often assume that happiness comes from having what someone else possesses. They believe that a certain amount of money, popularity, beauty, or recognition will finally make them feel fulfilled. However, there will always be someone who appears to have more. If happiness depends on being better than everyone else, satisfaction becomes impossible because the comparison never ends. Comparison can also damage gratitude. Instead of appreciating their own achievements, people begin overlooking them because they are focused on what they do not have. A student may ignore excellent academic progress because someone else scored higher. An entrepreneur may overlook business growth because another company is growing faster. A person may fail to appreciate a loving family because they are distracted by images of luxury and fame. This mindset turns blessings into burdens and accomplishments into disappointments. The truth is that every individual has unique strengths, opportunities, challenges, and circumstances. Success is not a race against other people. It is a personal journey of growth, learning, and improvement. The most meaningful comparison is not between yourself and someone else. It is between who you were yesterday and who you are today. When people shift their focus from competing with others to becoming the best version of themselves, they regain confidence, motivation, and peace of mind. They begin measuring progress by their own standards, celebrating their own victories, and building a life based on purpose rather than comparison. One of the most important truths people must understand in the digital age is the difference between online highlights and real life. Social media often presents a polished version of reality where only the most exciting, successful, and attractive moments are displayed. While there is nothing wrong with sharing positive experiences, problems arise when people forget that these posts represent only selected moments rather than the complete picture of someone's life. The gap between what is shown online and what actually happens behind the scenes is often much larger than people realize. Every successful person has struggles, setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt. However, these experiences rarely appear on social media feeds. Most people do not post pictures of disappointments, financial worries, personal insecurities, or difficult days. Instead, they share achievements, celebrations, vacations, and happy moments. As a result, social media becomes a collection of highlights, much like a movie trailer that shows the best scenes while leaving out everything else. The audience sees the exciting moments but misses the challenges that made those moments possible. Consider an entrepreneur who posts about a successful business launch. Followers may see the grand opening, the positive reviews, and the financial rewards. What they often do not see are the years of hard work, failed attempts, sleepless nights, and countless obstacles that occurred before success arrived. The same is true for athletes, artists, students, and professionals. Every accomplishment has a hidden story of effort and perseverance that remains invisible to most viewers. Relationships provide another example of this difference. Social media frequently displays smiling couples, romantic trips, and joyful celebrations. These images can create the impression that certain relationships are perfect and free from challenges. In reality, every healthy relationship requires communication, compromise, patience, and effort. Every couple experiences disagreements and difficult moments, yet those realities rarely receive the same attention as the happy photographs. People who compare their own relationships to these online images may develop unrealistic expectations and unnecessary dissatisfaction. The same pattern appears in personal appearance and lifestyle content. Influencers often share carefully selected photographs taken under ideal conditions. Lighting, angles, editing tools, and filters can dramatically change how a person looks. Followers may believe they are viewing an authentic representation of reality when, in fact, they are seeing a highly refined version of it. This can lead people to feel insecure about their own appearance. Even though they are comparing themselves to an image that has been intentionally enhanced, real life is much more complex than social media suggests. It includes victories and defeats, confidence and uncertainty, happiness and disappointment. Growth often happens during difficult moments that are never shared publicly. The lessons learned from failure, the discipline developed through hard work, and the resilience built through challenges are all part of the journey. These experiences shape character and create lasting success, even though they may never receive public recognition. Understanding the difference between online highlights and real life allows people to view social media more wisely. Instead of assuming that others live perfect lives, they begin recognizing that every individual faces challenges, regardless of how successful they appear online. This awareness reduces unnecessary comparison and creates a healthier perspective. People become more focused on their own journey rather than being distracted by carefully selected snapshots from someone else's life. The reality is that no one experiences constant success, happiness, or perfection. Behind every highlight is a story that remains unseen. The moments that build strength, wisdom, and character often happen away from cameras and screens. By remembering this distinction, individuals can appreciate social media for what it is, a platform for sharing moments rather than a complete reflection of reality, and develop a deeper appreciation for the authentic experiences that shape their own lives. In today's digital world, many people unknowingly tie their self-worth to numbers on a screen. Likes, comments, shares, views, and followers have become symbols of approval, and for some individuals, these numbers begin to determine how they feel about themselves. When a post receives a great deal of attention, they feel valued and accepted. When it receives little engagement, they may feel ignored, disappointed, or inadequate. This dependence on external validation creates a dangerous situation because true self-worth should never be controlled by the opinions or reactions of others. The reality is that social media platforms are designed to encourage engagement. Every notification creates excitement and anticipation. People become accustomed to checking their phones repeatedly to see who liked their posts, commented on their pictures, or followed their accounts. Over time, this behavior can create an emotional connection between personal value and online approval. The more approval someone receives, the better they feel. The less approval they receive, the more they question themselves. This emotional cycle can become exhausting because it places happiness in the hands of strangers. A person's value is far greater than any number that appears on a screen. Character, integrity, kindness, honesty, discipline, and perseverance cannot be measured by likes or followers. Some of the most influential and meaningful individuals in the world may have little online presence, while others with millions of followers may still struggle with insecurity and self-doubt. Popularity and personal worth are not the same thing. One reflects public attention, while the other reflects the quality of a person's character and actions. Many talented individuals underestimate themselves because they do not receive the online recognition they expect. They may have valuable ideas, strong abilities, and important contributions to offer, yet they feel discouraged when their content does not gain immediate attention. The truth is that recognition often depends on factors beyond talent, including timing, algorithms, trends, and audience preferences. A lack of engagement does not mean a lack of value. Some of the most important work people do may never receive public applause, yet it can still have a profound impact on others. When self-worth depends on social media approval, people often begin changing who they are in order to gain attention. They may hide their true opinions, imitate popular trends, or create content that does not genuinely reflect their values. Instead of expressing their authentic selves, they become focused on pleasing an audience. This approach may generate temporary validation, but it often creates deeper feelings of emptiness because people know they are seeking acceptance by pretending to be someone they are not. True confidence comes from within. It develops when people keep promises to themselves, work toward meaningful goals, overcome challenges, and remain faithful to their values. Confidence grows through action, discipline, and personal growth rather than through online popularity. A person who understands their worth does not need constant approval from others because they recognize their own strengths and purpose. Another important truth is that public opinion changes quickly. The same people who praise someone today may criticize them tomorrow. Trends rise and fall. Popularity shifts. Online attention is often temporary and unpredictable. Building self-worth on something so unstable creates insecurity. Building self-worth on character, principles, and personal growth creates stability and resilience. Every individual has unique gifts, talents, and qualities that make them valuable. These qualities exist whether they receive recognition or not. A caring parent, a dedicated teacher, a hardworking employee, a loyal friend, or a person who helps others in quiet ways may never become famous online, yet their impact can be life-changing. Their worth comes from who they are and what they contribute, not from the number of people who click a button on a social media platform. When people stop measuring their value through likes and followers, they experience a sense of freedom. They become less concerned with impressing others and more focused on becoming the best version of themselves. They begin creating, learning, growing, and contributing because it aligns with their purpose, not because it earns approval. In that freedom, they discover a deeper and more lasting form of confidence, one that cannot be increased by praise or diminished by criticism. One of the biggest misconceptions created by social media is the belief that success is primarily about appearances. Every day, people are exposed to images of wealth, luxury, fame, and achievement. They see expensive cars, beautiful homes, exotic vacations, and impressive accomplishments. Because these images are constantly displayed, many begin to assume that success is defined by what others can see. However, real success is not built through appearances. It is built through consistent effort, discipline, patience, and perseverance over long periods of time. The truth is that every meaningful achievement has a story behind it. Successful people are often admired for the results they achieve, but those results are only the visible part of a much larger process. What remains hidden are the early mornings, late nights, sacrifices, failures, setbacks, and years of hard work. Social media may show the reward, but reality contains the effort that made the reward possible. The glamorous outcome receives attention while the difficult journey is often overlooked. Consistency is one of the most powerful forces in personal growth and achievement. Small actions repeated daily can produce extraordinary results over time. A student who studies a little every day gradually builds knowledge and confidence. An athlete who trains consistently develops strength and skill. An entrepreneur who works steadily toward a goal eventually creates opportunities that others never see. These accomplishments do not happen overnight. They are the result of countless ordinary days filled with focused effort. Unfortunately, social media often creates unrealistic expectations about how quickly success should happen. People see stories about individuals who became famous, wealthy, or influential in a short period of time. These stories attract attention because they are exciting and unusual. What many people fail to realize is that most successful individuals spent years developing their abilities before receiving recognition. The so-called overnight success often required years of preparation, learning, and persistence that remained invisible to the public. When people focus too much on appearances, they may become discouraged by their own progress. They compare their current situation to someone else's achievement and feel as though they are falling behind. This comparison can lead to frustration and impatience. Some individuals even give up on their goals because they do not see immediate results. They forget that growth is often slow, gradual, and difficult to notice in the moment. Great accomplishments are rarely the product of a single breakthrough. More often, they are the result of thousands of small actions performed consistently over time. Another danger of focusing on appearances is that people may pursue symbols of success rather than actual success. They may spend more time trying to look successful than becoming successful. Instead of developing skills, they seek attention. Instead of building strong habits, they seek quick recognition. Instead of creating lasting value, they focus on creating an impressive image. While appearances can attract temporary admiration, they cannot replace genuine competence, knowledge, and character. Real success is often built in private. It happens when nobody is watching and no applause is being given. It happens when a person chooses discipline over excuses, learning over comfort, and persistence over quitting. These moments rarely appear on social media, but they are the foundation of every significant achievement. The strongest careers, businesses, relationships, and personal accomplishments are built through consistent actions repeated day after day. History provides countless examples of individuals who achieved extraordinary success because they refused to quit. They faced failures, criticism, rejection, and obstacles, yet they continued moving forward. Their success was not determined by how impressive they appeared during difficult times. It was determined by their willingness to keep working when progress seemed slow and results were uncertain. They understood that consistency often matters more than talent, luck, or temporary motivation. The lesson is clear. Appearances can be created instantly, but genuine success requires time. A photograph can create the illusion of achievement, but true achievement is earned through effort. Social media may celebrate the outcome, but life rewards the process. Those who commit themselves to steady improvement, continuous learning, and persistent action eventually achieve results that no filter image or online post can ever replicate. Their success is real because it is built on a foundation of hard work, resilience, and unwavering consistency. Ladies and gentlemen, social media is one of the most powerful tools ever created, but it is important to remember that it is only a tool, not reality itself. The images, videos, and stories we see online often represent selected moments rather than complete lives. When we compare ourselves to these carefully crafted highlights, we risk losing sight of our own value, our own progress, and our own unique journey. True success is not measured by followers, likes, or online popularity. It is measured by the strength of our character, the consistency of our efforts, and the positive impact we make in the lives of others. Real growth happens away from the screen, in the moments of hard work, perseverance, learning, and self-improvement that few people ever see. Instead of chasing perfection, let us choose authenticity. Instead of comparing ourselves to others, let us focus on becoming better than we were yesterday. Instead of seeking validation from the digital world, let us build confidence from our actions, values, and achievements. The most meaningful life is not the one that looks impressive online. It is the one that is lived with purpose, integrity, and fulfillment in the real world. Thank you.